Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, guys. So probably this is going to be first video which is going to be going out. Regardless, today we're going to be talking about how you can create an interactive component using Figma. So I have this beautiful portfolio from my wife. So she has actually done an interactive component here where you can actually see the menu as I'm hovering over. It turns to a different state, and when you tap on it, it sort of goes into the sort of state, and then you can hover. Then it becomes a closed state, and then you can again tap on it to sort of get back here. I thought it's really clever and really playful, and something really nicely done. Um, so we could look at what how we can do something very similar using the interactive components in Figma. So without further ado, let's get started. So again, I have an artboard here. It's a new file. I've created a new file, interactive component. I just created an artboard for uh, for us to test this. So it's like a 1280 by 720. And I have a logo here, which is like about 60 padding from top and left. So what I'm going to do is like again, I've kept it 48 by 48. I think on web, like it'll be good to kind of give a bit more size. So let's say, so first thing I'm going to do is like, I'm going to create a new artboard. I'm going to create a new frame. Say I'm going to change this to, let's say, 48 by 48. It's good. I'm going to also change the color, keep the color similar, and then say, or maybe like, I'll just remove the color. We don't need the color, right? So we just need the frame. What I'm going to be doing is I will draw rectangles for the menu. So I'm going to draw, I think two is fine. I think those ones are really, really thin. So I'm going to keep maybe eight padding from eight margin from left and right. That is looking nice. So I'm just going to keep it white. Maybe also rounded corner. So that's smooth. That's fine. And I'm going to create, I think for the time being, I'm just going to add some color so that I can actually visually see the spacing and stuff. Say I'm going to keep it this for now, but then later on I'll remove it. I'm going to create one more. So I'm just duplicating it. Like you have one here, second. I'm just going to tap Command D, move it down. So we have a nice menu. I'm going to also distribute it vertically, and then potentially slightly increase. I think 8 is fine. I think that's looking good. It's too big. I think I'm gonna have to test it to kind of see. I'm gonna create a group out of this and sort of align it center and vertical also center. I think that's about it. So let's say I want to test this. Before I test, I'm going to name this saying menu, the menu, and then I'm going to create a component by just tapping on the component icon here. And then from the assets panel, we'll see the component. I'm just going to drag and drop that. I'm going to drop it to say, I'm going to keep it top align. And then I would say 60 padding, 60 margin from the right. Say here. Okay. Now I'm going to tap tutorial, tap on prototype, and then I'm gonna add a flow starting point in here. So every time I want to play this, I can just tap on this play button. It just opens up the prototype. You can also alternatively tap on play, and then the first artboard actually plays. But in my case, like I like to have this option in here, so I don't have to go all the way there. Now, I think the size is fine for this tutorial. Obviously, you can adjust it. So I think I'm fine with this. Now, the first thing is, I think the color. Let's keep it like close to this one. I've provided the color. I think 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Keep the same so that it just merges on here. But then we still have something to look at back on this file. Let me go back here. I think that's pretty neat. That looks fine. So the first state is pretty much good. So what I'm going to do is we need to create a variant of this one. So what I'm going to do is go to layers panel menu and then add a variant. Say this variant 2, and then let's say this is a hover state, right? Let's say hover state. and this would say default state, which is fine. But instead of menu being here, maybe I'll just say icon, because like the initial icon would be a menu, and then later on it's going to change it. Let's say uh, this whole interactive component is like, let's have call it icon, and then under that we have a menu, and we have two states. One is default state, the other is a hover state. um, Pretty good so far. Probably I need to rename it to something else. For now I think it's fine. um, and I'm going to change the hover state first of all. When you try to hover here on this one, what should basically happen, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, similar to what we have seen there, I think the width of this almost reduced to zero. So keep it center, and this one potentially slightly more. I think it's not almost zero. Probably I think this much is fine, and this probably a little bit more. Again, obviously you can adjust it based on your preference. So I think potentially this would look really nice. Okay, maybe I think the distance between these items are really far. Maybe what we could do is maybe reduce, keep it 7 or 6. Um, and then vertical central line, which is fine. Okay, and this also same, I'm gonna keep it 6. Yeah, I think that is fine. Okay, and also I think this full menu with that isn't like too good. I'm gonna probably slightly change this so that it's like this. Maybe this could be similar, but yeah, it has some styling to it. Maybe okay, that's fine. I think that's fine. The initial state and the now state is fine. Now the other thing we need to do is we can also make it the colors now default white, but maybe we could slightly reduce the transparency when on hover. Maybe we can say, I mean, some sort of interaction. Maybe 90 is fine. What I'm going to do is once we have the states, I'm going to go to again prototype, tap on the first default state of this icon and this menu icon, and then as soon as we move to prototype, we'll see the prototype starting point in here. You can just tap on the plus and then drag to the second layer we have, the component. So you'll make a connection, and it'll also open up this interaction details. So you can tap again, you can close this. If you close it, you can open it by tapping on this arrow. You tap on that, then it shows the additional details. So it says on click change to the hover state, but then we don't want it to be on click, we want it to be while hovering. So we change to while hovering, and then let's quickly check if it's actually happening. Yeah, it is happening. So as we are hovering, it instantly moved to the state, but it's like an on and off switch. So I think that's terrible. We need to kind of animate. So I'm going to say instead animation. So right now it says instant. So instead of that, I'm going to say smart animate. What smart animate does is like it looks after, let's say, the rectangle 1, rectangle 2, rectangle 3, all these names, and then it identifies how the same layers and names on the second one, and then if we move or adjust opacity or things like that, it automatically animates in between, so we don't have to handle anything. So when we do smart animate, again we can also do we have also the different ease options. So I'm just going to say ease out with 300 millisecond. I think that's fine, that's good. Let's potentially now check. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Probably one thing I would like to see is maybe I'm gonna even reduce this slightly more to keep it even a bit more dramatic. So yeah, maybe I don't know. Should it be maybe the default state? I'm gonna keep it 80. Give me a second. Again, when you're actually doing it, maybe again it's gonna be based on your product. I'm just keeping it right now to kind of see visually what makes it look good for me. So I'm slightly opacity down on the beginning, but then when you hover, it becomes 100% opacity. Okay, maybe I don't know. I can also add a little bit of glow as well. These are additional things. I'm just making things up right now. I'm gonna add a little drop shadow. I'm gonna white 0, blur 4, keep it maybe white. Okay, 30 is fine. Blur, okay, 3 is fine. Maybe 50. um, I think that should be fine. Let's check this, right? It's not as visible as I would like it to be, so let's maybe increase that a little bit more. So I'm gonna say instead of 50, maybe let's try 100%. I think it'll be too much, and then obviously we will tone it down. Okay, I think 100%, but then we can increase the blur to, let's say, 6. 6 blur, and then we'll reduce the opacity to maybe 70. It has, I think, yeah, that's pretty good. Neat looking right now. So it lights up, plus it has a really nice feeling to it. I think after that, so we have again two states right now. We have an initial state of the default state, and then we also have a house state right now. Pretty good so far. Now I'm just going to create another state. Let's say I'm going to create another state. I'm going to tap on default and then create another state. So on this state, it's going to be an open state. So what happens when the menu is open? So I think on the video, on the prototype we've shown in the beginning. So the menu actually, again, I think from here it goes and then it becomes like this, I guess. So what we should do is something very similar. So we only need two of these lines. So we don't need the line which comes in the middle, which is line rectangle 2. So what I'm going to do is maybe I'll do with 0. 0, I think by default just turns to 1. It's fine. We'll just center align it, and opacity we'll say 0. Then hide away anyway. And the first one, I think it should go this way, right? It should go this way. So I think we should animate it, like rotate this way. So let's say 90 there, and then so before actually I do that, I want both to be on the same width. So, and this one I'm gonna say 90 this way. Okay, and this one 90 this way. So I think it's important. It'll be good to kind of, instead of controlling the rotation from here, it'll be good if you control it using a hand. Okay, wait, so now what's gonna happen is it's gonna be like this, right? Maybe we don't want like that, we want like this, right? So I'm gonna, instead of change this rotation, instead of going this way, I'm gonna do it like this. So I think probably, so it should, from here it should come here to like have a full rotation, and while the rotation is happening, the things will also change. This again, this is the beauty of interactive components in Figma. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to center align this. Okay, wait, I'm going to just both of them align, and then this is here. Okay, that's pretty good. Maybe we need a little bit more distance. So maybe I'll say 4. I think this is fine. This fine. This looks decent enough. Central line again. Check if everything is fine. We have 18 on one side, 17 on the other. Probably I'll increase one more. So we have an even spacing there. I'm gonna again center it. 17, 17, which is fine. So that stayed pretty good, solid. Now, so far, what we have is we have an initial default state, and then on hover, we have the state. Next state we want is on tap, what happens, right? Like you have to, after hover, we need a tap state. When you tap, it should take you to the state. So what I'm going to do is I can go back to prototype. So we have again, because we duplicated this one, by default it also copied its prototyping like interactions. So I'm going to remove these because we don't need those, and add a new one. So again, as soon as we go to prototype, we'll see the connections. I'm going to tap on the plus, not in here. So essentially on this one, we need to tap and then get here. So I'm going to add on click, which is fine. So by default, it adds on click, change to menu 3. I'm gonna obviously rename this, but Smart Animate 300 ms, which is fine. So guys, I've just renamed these elements. So I went to, so we have a menu, and then I've changed from icon to menu. Under menu we have a couple of states. So the first state is menu open. Okay, it's not behavior. Let's say just menu open. Then we have menu uh, open, and then I have a state for this. And we have menu closed. So we need one state for menu closed and hover. Like what happens when you hover over this? So I think so far, I think we've also added the interactions here where one click change to menu closed from hover, which is fine. We have a smart animate and ease out and 300 ms, which sounds good. Going back here, I'm just going to try that out. So on hover, we have this really nice glow happening. On tap, it, yeah, it does, right, it does that rotation, which is fine. Maybe the height is a little bit more than what I would like personally, so I'm gonna maybe slightly reduce it. I would like it to be maybe an odd number, because later on we're gonna do a close. So when we do a close, I think an odd number would be good instead of even number. Maybe I'll give it 29. 29 is fine. I'm gonna do a vertical center, so we have a nice one in here. 9, 9 padding, which is fine. And then maybe I'm going to also do this whole group. So we have 9 and 10. Maybe we'll do 9.5. You have 9.5, 9.5 from top and bottom. So it's like perfect center. Go back here. I'm going to restart hover, which is fine. Tapping on that. Goes here. Like that. That looks good. Now, essentially from here, we need another state. I'm going to add a new state and then call it menu closed hover. So I have a terrible naming system right now, but that's fine. Let's look at the group right now. Okay, so we have again rectangle one, 2, 3. So we have again, I think right now we have rotated this way. Now we need to make an X, right? I think the left one would go this way, and then the right one would go this way. So it just forms an X when you hover like this, and when you hover, it just goes like this. So in order for us to do that, the first one, which is rectangle one, needs to rotate 45. Let's say, okay, I'm just going to keep it like this. I think it should be 45. Yeah, 45, that's fine. And this one again should move this way to yeah, 135. So essentially, you're just doing it in 45 increments. Uh, and once we have done that, what we should do is maybe I'll just slightly move it so until it becomes snaps to the center, which is fine. And once after that, I'm just gonna move it horizontal, vertically. Okay, think it's very close. 13.04, I think that's fine, because of the rotation. Sometimes things slightly change. Absolutely fine, so pretty happy with that. And I think we should create a we should apply the same drop shadow. If you are planning to apply it many places, you can obviously create a style, but for now I think I'm just going to copy the style from here and then apply it to both of these. Command V, plus I'm going to also increase the opacity to 100%. So we have the similar sort of glowing effect in here as well. So I'm going to say prototype. So we have the prototyping plus icon as soon as we tap on the prototype. Tapping on this and then connecting here, instead of on click, we'll change it to while hovering, because like that's what we want. On tap, it goes here, and then when you hover, it moves to this one. Change to menu closed hover, which is fine. Smart animate, ease out, everything else is fine. Okay, now let's quickly try. Yeah, pretty good. Like this is what we want. On hover, this happens, and we want to now connect it back. So when you tap on this, it should go back here. So on click, change to menu open, smart animate, ease out, 300 ms. Sounds good, pretty good everything. So let's move back here. Okay, wait. So you have initial state hover, tapping on that. I think we have a little bit, that's like it's a little bit of issue. What's happening right now is like you tap, it goes. So you have when you hover, you tap on this, and then instantly after going here, it just goes to close. Because again, that's how we've set it to work, right? So what we, in order to avoid that, what we could do is like maybe we could create additional states, right? We could create additional state in between, and then we could define more elements on mouse leaf. That's potentially for maybe another video if you guys wanna like know more about that. But I think like even this pretty good so far, right? Like it's very smooth, and then it gives you basic idea into how to do these sort of components really simple, in a really simple way. I hope you guys find this useful. I'm going to be doing more videos, hopefully really soon. Let me know what would you like to actually see. So I'm also planning to do maybe a product design related videos, how to get started. So again, thank you so much for staying with me this far. So finally, I think we have a really good component here, which works really nicely. And then potentially on the later one, I will explain a bit more on to how we can fix some of these issues. And if you'd like to see more of these sort of videos, please let me know in your comments, and then I would be happy to help you out with anything if you need. With that being said, see you on the next one. Thank you. Bye bye.